Well, it's a rainy day outside today, and I decided I would tackle the Honda. I just jacked it up, put 2 jack stands under it and the jack, winched the front end down because I put it right under there, and that's so I can take this whole rear end, everything off of there. And what I'm going to do right now is kick it into neutral. It's in neutral. Okay, I'm gonna spin it and see how it spins, and I think it's bearings. If not, it's the drive shaft, and we'll get into that. I do have new front tires on it, if you didn't notice that yesterday. They're probably over half tread left on them. Oversized too, pretty nice. Anyway, let's see how she spins. Backwards. You can hear a little bit of stuff rattling around inside there though. Well, I had an awful time to get that pin out, but I did. So now we're going to pull this off. Wasn't very tight. Well, you didn't miss any excitement. I'm going to mess with this exhaust a bit. It's leaking around here. I'm going to try and fix that. But right now, I removed the little, I don't know what you call them, skid plate things, guards. Gonna pull the brakes assembly off here, and I'm gonna pull these nuts off the axle, and I'm gonna just slide the axle right out and see if I can get this thing apart a little bit better than I did last time I tried to do this. If you're looking for a good indication your axle seals are bad, if you look at this, there is actually water and oil mix running out there just from me turning it. Well, here's the rear end, and tell me if I'm wrong, but this gear, pinion gear, is not supposed to be loose like this. That is not normal. Look at the fucking play in that, bud. I would say the bearings in there are completely shot, and I imagine the bearings inside of here are also pretty rough. Right now, there's just water pouring out of it when I split the calves. And there's the mess inside of it. Here's the gear. Covered in shit. Absolutely gross. And here's the rear end inside of it. Also filled with this nasty shit. Yeah, it's taking it off. Nice. It's a little better. Well, that's nice. There's a hole in this. Well, I have discovered the problem. I know exactly what it is. Inside of here, we're supposed to have a bearing that sits down in there behind this big nut that you have to have a special tool to take off. Here's pieces of the bearing here. This is the seal that goes over top. I think I kind of ruined that, but it was pretty rough shape anyway. Anyway, down inside there you can see the bearings just randomly floating about. Just the balls just everywhere down in there. Not in any bearing, just free. Call me crazy, but I got this piece of 1.5" square tubing that fits perfectly in there. And then I got this big ass 3/4 inch drive, I believe it is, and an 1.75 inch socket. And we're gonna see if we can get this off. Cross your fingers. This thing didn't stay on. Did now. Think she's coming, boys. Redneck creations always work the best. 'Cause check that out. She is out, bud. Before I go for lunch, I'll pull this pinion gear out. Gonna attempt to. Alright, I got it out, and it was pretty rough actually. Here's the pinion gear. Had an awful time. I had to heat the friggin' thing just to get that bolt off, or that nut off the top of it, which is right there. But anyway, it come out in 2 pieces. Actually, the pieces are inside, but the bearing has a piece that goes over this and a piece that slides down in here, and it completely broke apart and separated. So I had to pound the one in here out. It was awful to get out. And the same with this one here. I had to put it in the vise and tap on it, and got it, the 2 pieces out. And there was like ball bearings falling all over the ground because the thing just fucking exploded. Like that's what used to keep them in there. So anyway, things are coming along now. Right now I need this main bearing. Now you can see that little bearing down in there, and it's the one with the rollers. There's one right there. It's got probably 3/4 of the rollers in it. So I really don't want to go through the chore of taking that apart, so I'm going to reuse it. I'm going to put in the few rollers that fell out back into it, and then I'm going to, I think I'm going to use these original, well, they're not original because this has been rebuilt before, but these bearings that are in here, because they don't seem all that bad. I'm just going to clean them up real good because they're full of grease, so they're probably going to wear out extra soon, but I'm going to take and clean that up, and I'm going to use these same bearings on both halves, I'm just gonna have this pinion gear. Here's what I did. I took this and it was cut in 4 slots, which I had done before when I modified this muffler, because I had to take it off to do it, to try and make it a little quieter. But anyway, what I did is I had cut 4 slits in this pipe that is slightly larger than the one that's on the 4-wheeler, and I slid it over and then I put a clamp on it. Well, obviously there was air and shit coming out of these holes that I cut. So what I did now is I took a piece of pipe the same size as what was on the 4-wheeler, slid it down in there, and then I welded. Well, actually I squished it right in close so it was right tight with that pipe, and then I welded up and down all 4 little slits, and now it shouldn't leak as much, maybe a little bit, and that's okay. Alright, just one little addition before we go, and that is that new light up there. You see them on the 250 Fourtrax, the older ones, and I added it onto this off of a Yamaha actually, and you can see how I got the fenders all painted black. I think that looks a lot nicer, and as well as the front grille there too.